What's up? Ron here, and this video is going to be a little bit sad, but we're going to talk about mistakes, and I like to call this mistake mining. And a lot of us, we're not humble, and we don't like to admit that we make mistakes because it's a little painful. And what I did was today, I sat down and I made a list of all the mistakes I've made in the last 12 months, and the mistakes are long. But this exercise is good because it shows you two things. Number one, you're humble enough to admit that you made mistakes, which is actually something that a lot of us don't do. We think that we're like, oh, I had to make mistakes to learn or like experience and all this shit. But believe it or not, that's not true. You could have been doing what you're doing now months ago. You didn't have to wait all that time to learn. So that's number one. Number two, if your mistake list is long, that means you're making a lot of progress, literally. If your mistake list is small, that means you're rude, you're not humble, like you got an ego, and you're not learning as much as you should be. My mistake list is long as hell because I'm flying all over the place, meeting all these people, reading all these books. A lot of stuff I screwed up in, almost everything I screwed up in. And there's no doubt in my mind, this office that I'm in, all the stuff that I'm doing, I could have done it like years ago, literally. But mistake mining. So what you want to do is you want to sit down and you want to write a long list of what you honestly think you made a mistake in the last 12 months. Don't do your whole life because you might be super sad. Like I'd be so sad if I thought of all the things I screwed up in. Just keep it to like the last 12 months and start to write a list out of what you screwed up in. What did I do? What am I doing now that I could have done a long time ago? What did I miss? What key things was I not paying attention in that I could have implemented and just completely destroyed? Like, one of mine was delegating. I had a problem with delegation. I'm always like a perfectionist, so I always looked over everything, and nothing gets done when you do that. Another one was not masterminding. Like, I was by myself for a period of time, and I wasn't meeting other great people, and that's how good ideas happen when I was just too alone. And when you're alone, you don't get things done. You need a good team around you. You need good friends around you. You need people around you who are doing things that you're doing. It's good to have friends. I have friends. I have a lot of friends and stuff. But once I started meeting more people that are doing what I'm doing, the same thing, they have their own big thing going on. That's when just things started like just going crazy for me. So, the list was longer than that. There was some practical stuff like getting an office and having deep work, concentrated work for multiple hours per day. I was working from home and it was too distracting and like I got interrupted a lot. And scientific studies show that if you get interrupted once, it takes 20 minutes to build up that same level of focus. So picture getting interrupted every 30 minutes. You get nothing done. I didn't have a good schedule. I was working in the afternoon and evening a lot, and it's actually better to prioritize your work in the morning because that's when the glucose is highest in your brain. So there was just so many different things. There was like over 50 things I was doing wrong. But the point is, my list is long and I've improved on all those things. So 12 months ago, I've grown this much. And obviously, I could make a list of all the good things that I've done. Like the list is just as long as the bad things, but the bad things is where you grow the most because it's painful. So for you, what mistakes have you made in the last 12 months that you think you could have improved on? What could have you done 12 months ago that could have helped you? Like, did you have to learn the hard way in things? What ways could it be? Was it dating? Did you wait too long to break up with this person? Was it your job? Did you wait too long to quit? Is it reading? Like, could you have started reading like 8 months ago? Like me, for example, there's some books I have in my bookshelf I haven't read yet, and I'll read it and I'm like, this book changed my life. Why didn't I read this 8 months ago? I needed this 8 months ago. Could have already been, killing it. So think about that for you. What things were you making mistakes of in the last 12 months that you could have improved? Spend some time, spend like an hour, get a whiteboard or get some kind of white sheet of paper and just write it down. Write it down and think about it. And if you have a long list, like I said, that means you're growing. And if you have a short list, you're either not growing or you're a little bit too egotistical, which is something you must fix. Okay? So, that's just something from me. I do this all the time. I like to do it weekly too. I have a minor one I do weekly. Like in the morning, part of my morning routine is actually doing a strategy session. I sit down and I think about things I'm doing right. I think about things I'm doing wrong. But I want you to spend some good time and not think about from the day or from the week. I want you to think from where you were last year, 12 months ago from this video. You know, what was I doing bad? What did I make mistakes in that I know now that I could already fix back then? And, you know, just pat yourself on the back, because if you got a long list, you made some progress, and that's what this is all about, making progress. Young intellectuals, you want to grow, okay? So also, make sure you join my Facebook group, Books, Knowledge, and Greatness, because not only is it just, I'm in there every day posting, you know, it's like my little hive. Bruno's there too, but you know, there's hundreds of members in there as well, just like us, growing every day, reading books, taking action, you know, trying to make, you know, things bigger. It's kind of like a movement. So if you want to join more like-minded people and make more friends, you know, you might find a person in there who lives near you and you guys might be good friends, or even a date. You can even, I don't know. But if you're, you know, a like-minded person of that nature, join Books, Knowledge, and Greatness. I'm going to give you some kind of link in this video, or it's going to be in the description, but make sure you join, because it's all about who you're surrounding yourself with, and I want you to be around people who are just crushing it, right? So that's number one. And number two, make sure you like Young Intellectuals, the Facebook page, because we're going to be having a whole ton of content there. You know, you can follow us on Snapchat, all this different stuff, but like, you know, make sure you stay in contact with us. Subscribe to the YouTube, whatever you got to do, stay with us. But, you know, make sure you do that. You know, do the mistake mining. All right. I gave you a couple of mine. Give me a couple of yours. If you want to comment it. But make sure you get to this, because the quicker you can get that feeling out of the way, that sadness of fuck, you know, I'm fucking up. Here are all the things I fucked up in. You know, that's a sign of growth. All right. So I'll see y'all in the next video.